Welcome back, watch fans. We have amazing news in the world of Rolex. We got breaking news, and the breaking news is this. It's not that Juanita Kino have stolen hubcaps once again. That's old news. Those guys have been deported to La Isla del Cucarach. But what's happening is Rolex is opening the doors of a 10,000 square foot store on Bond Street, or Old Bond Street to be exact, in Chumostan, aka London. That's right. They're opening a massive retail store, and I got to tell you something. We did a video about Audemars Piguet doing the same thing on Fifth Avenue in New York, and that is actually probably a mistake. Whereas the Rolex move is genius, and here's the difference. Number one is the store that they're doing, and we've seen the pictures. We'll probably be there in a couple of weeks, but the store that they're doing is what the kids call experiential retail, immersive retail, immersive experiential, all that bullshit, all that marketing bullshit. And the idea is this. The idea, my friends, JLC on the wrist. And I'll tell you something, at the end of the day, everybody always comes back to Rolex. That's right. Audemars Piguet, JLC, what, Patek Philippe. Look, Rolex is kind of like, it's like, it's like comfort food. It's like steak, right? It's like steak. It's like a nice juicy steak or burger. It's just human beings, carnivores by nature. That's what we want to eat, right? We want something simple. You don't need to have some fancy dish or whatever, which is nice every once in a while, right? But at the end of the day, you just want that juicy steak. Unbelievable, but true. And that's the thing with Rolex. What they do is actually kind of magical. Again, I'm not any type of fan by any means. I'm not a fanboyish. I appreciate what they do, but here's the deal with the store: 10,000 square foot space, 3 floors, from what I understand, plus the workshop, and of course they're going to sell used slider condition watches there, and Juanita Kino will be there outside stealing hubcaps, as we see right here. Somebody's hubcaps were stolen. That Juan and Kino were here. Before they got deported to La Isla del Cucarach y Basura. You know where that is? You don't know where that is? You Google it. Anyhow, my friends, here is the reality. Here is the reality of the watch market. So now, why would they open a space if they don't have any watches for sale? Well, first of all, it's a genius move, because what's happening is, what they're doing is, again, it's almost like basically they're doing a museum. It's a retail museum, okay? London is really, obviously it's a major destination, global destination. And I think actually for shopping, maybe even better than New York. I'm not sure, but the retail, the rental prices in Mayfair and Bond Street are the highest in the world. And they do a lot of business over there. So the Rolex store is going to be kind of like the Apple store in New York at the GM building. That Apple store does, I think, a couple $100 million a year in sales, like 400 million, 300, some huge numbers, selling Macs, iMacs, notebook, iPhones, all that garbage. They get the big glass cube outside, right at the corner of 59th and 5th. And it's it's really a major retail destination, and that same thing is going to happen with Rolex. So this store, they're going to have all the exhibits. They're going to have probably some sort of weekly masturbation sessions. Some sort of circle jerk. They'll probably have talks, seminars, events. They're going to have sassy watch meetups, sassy watch meetups over there. All sorts of cringy type stuff will happen. But the thing is, what the advantage is, what they're going to do with that space is, again, they're building essentially a museum to Rolex. That's going to be the official museum to Rolex. And that's going to reinforce, I should say. It's going to reinforce the Rolex brand. It's a massive, genius piece of propaganda. Now, how much is it going to cost? Are you ready for this? The build out. We're talking about the build out. I'm not talking about the space. The build out, meaning, the construction, the marble, the chandeliers, the glass, 50 million, I think 50 million, 50 million, 50, 50, $50 million. Actually, I'm not sure if it's pounds or dollars, which is a big difference. I would say it's dollars, but 50 million. So that's $5,000 a square foot. That sounds about right for a high-end build-out. I mean, the pictures we've seen are absolutely stunning. And here's the deal. You know, there's a big difference between the Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and Rolex boutiques. Guess which one is the best? Rolex. That's right. You walk into any of these, whatever shops, Rolex. The Rolex ones are always the ones that are consistently very crispy and clean and beautiful. Everything is beautiful. The AP is always like a little bit run down. It's kind of like, it looks kind of like one of those, I don't know, some sort of like made in China type luxury, so-called luxury stuff. AP boutiques are a little bit, I don't know. And Patek Philippe, is okay. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not 100% perfect. I mean, it's good. It's kind of like a Ritz-Carlton. It's very good, but it's not a Four Seasons. So, bottom line is that Rolex is consistent. I mean, their build-outs, their finishes, fixtures are really impressive. So, $50 million to build this museum. What's going to be for sale? What is going to be for sale? Nothing. No, I'm sure they're going to have some things, waiting list, blah blah blah. Look, here's the reality, right? Rolex is mass production luxury. We all know that, okay? We all know that, and this is the store where they're going to be selling 100 to 200 million a year in watches. No, I would say no more. I would say they're going to sell 200 million in watches a year. If the Apple Store can do, those numbers, so can Rolex. And of course, look, it's a much higher price point. At the Apple Store, the average price point is probably $2,000. At Rolex, it's $15,000. It's probably the average price point, 15 to 20. Right? So, and they're going to have massive foot traffic because look. Remember that video we showed you? We showed you that video of the Rolex window at Wynn in Vegas. It's people are drawn to it like magnets. People are drawn to Rolex. It's like a magnetic force. The Rolex window is a powerful magnetic force. It's hypnotic. It's really hypnotic. And what happens is, here we go. This is Archie Luxury. Look at this. Okay, gentlemen, this is where Juan and Kino are working. Juan and Kino are here every day at the Yellow Orchid. Unbelievable but true. Unbelievable but true. This is, I think this is where Juan and Kino live. Let me show you I don't want to dox Juan and Kino, but this is where Juan and Kino are living right there. Unbelievable but true. Juan and Kino stealing hubcaps in the neighborhood, and that's what's going on. But no, the Rolex store is actually, I think it's a genius move. Why is it a genius move versus Patek? Well, first of all, Rolex actually does have the foot traffic to support a 10,000 square foot space. I'm guaranteeing that place is going to be packed every day. Okay, that Rolex store in London is going to be packed. 10,000 square feet is going to be packed because Rolex packs them in. Okay, people are they just flock to it. Audemars Piguet is a little bit more, they're going to have traffic obviously, but it's a little bit more. Look, they're trying to be very pretentious and pretend they're all exclusive. Look, Audemars Piguet, frankly, the management of the company is pure trash. Okay, that Francois guy was, just total piece of shit. Okay, I mean, the guy was a worthless piece of shit. And the new people there, not much better, okay? That's a one model company. They just have Royal Oak, okay? That's all they got. They're hanging by a thread, okay? The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak is a 50-year-old design. And you know what? Okay, all right. It's like, it comes in and out of fashion every 20 years. And I think it's the time is up. You know, it's about to go out of fashion, I think. I think people just had enough. You know, they want something new. With Rolex, they have like, you know, 5-6 different models, right? They got 5-6 models. With Royal Oak, it's the same fucking watch. It's the same damn watch. Okay, you know, you get tired of it after a while. I mean, you know, it's like the old expression. You show me, you know, show me a beautiful woman. Show me a beautiful woman. I'll show you a guy who's tired of her. All right. You know, no matter how beautiful she is, you know, you get bored. Even this one, you get bored. You know, you get bored. You know, you want something new, and Rolex gives you something new. Audemars Piguet does not. All they give you is a different dial. The body is the same, right? So, I think what's going to happen is the AP store is going to be very disappointing. That's going to be their Waterloo for those French fucks, the French fuckers. That's right, the French fucks. They are kind of French Swiss, right? Whatever. That's going to be their Waterloo. Whereas for Rolex, it's going to be that's going to be, you know, Rolex is actually an English company. You know, it was founded in London, right? That Hans Wilsdorf guy, you know, the guy is like Chinese or something, founded in London, whatever. Look, bottom line, my friends, is the Rolex move is going to be absolute genius. Very, very positive for the brand. And that store is going to be used to absorb all the inventory, okay? All the inventory out there. Again, they're churning out millions of launches every minute. Every minute of every day, they are churning out launches like you would not believe. And they're all going to be sold through that store. All right, let me know what you wankers think. Leave your vicious comments below.